Today, the 11th March 2019, marks the beginning of the third session of the Truth, Reconciliation and Reparations Commission, the TRRC of the Gambia. This session will run from the 11th to the 28th March 2019. During this period, the TRRC will continue to hear testimonies of witnesses related to the November 11, 1994 incident and the death of Usman Korosise in June 1995, a former Minister of Finance in the erstwhile regime. The TRRC is interested in hearing more testimonies in relation to November 11, 1994, and the death of Usman Korosise, to clarify issues on the events and circumstances leading to what actually happened on these fateful days and thereafter, and who the main actors were. It is anticipated that one institutional hearing will also take place during this period. During the second session of the TRRC, which ran from the 11th to the 28th February 2019, the Commission had testimonies from 12 witnesses. The testimonies were related to the July 1994 coup d'etat and the November 11, 1994 incident and the death of Usman Korosise.
I'm hearing, but
the 12 witnesses brought the total number of witnesses who have testified before the Commission to 25. The majority of the witnesses are serving or former members of the armed forces and other arms of the security services, the police and the prisons. 5 of these are civilians, including former government ministers, civil servants, and 1 businessman. 6 of the witnesses were distant. 3 of the distant witnesses had to testify through video conferencing, and 3 were facilitated by the TRRC to come to the Commission to testify in person. All the witnesses testified voluntarily before the Commission. All the witnesses were male. It is expected that as the TRRC progresses, female witnesses will come forward to testify. And I'm happy to report that today we have the 4th female witness appearing before the Commission. It must be noted that the TRRC will do everything to ensure that they hear women's testimonies, which are a critical part of the narrative of what transpired from the period July 1994 to January 2017. The mode of hearing, whether public, private, or protected, will be based on the best interests and wishes of the witness. The TRRC appreciates the high level of interest that the proceedings have generated at the national and global levels. The interest has translated into discussions at all levels on what should be the fate of those persons who have been adversely mentioned and what the Commission is doing to support the victims who have testified before the Commission to address their urgent needs. With regard to the people that have been adversely mentioned at the hearings, the TRRC hereby informs the general public that in line with the provisions of the TRRC Act, all adversely mentioned persons have been or will be served with notices of advance mention. A person who is served with an adverse mention notice has the choice of voluntarily coming to the TRRC to give their statements and to testify before the Commission. If they choose not to do so, they may be summoned or subpoenaed to appear before the TRRC. With regard to the urgent interim reparations for victims, education support is already being provided for the children of victims who had their education interrupted. For those victims with serious health issues, the medical board set up by the Ministry of Health at the request of the TRRC has already started reviewing cases of victims that have been referred to them and based on their assessments and recommendations, the next course of action will be decided on in relation to their medical treatment. A draft reparations policy and rules of procedures have been developed and have been shared with the relevant partners for their input, so that reparations for those urgent cases who can't wait can be addressed as quickly, fairly, and efficiently as possible. The Victim Support Unit of the TRRC is working closely with both the registered victims and the medical board and other units of the TRRC to ensure that victims needing urgent psychosocial support and physical and mental treatment are given the necessary attention. All witnesses who appear before the Commission are provided with pre, during, and post-counseling support services. Follow-up assessments are also conducted with the witness and his family where necessary. A standby team of paramedics from the fire and rescue services is always on standby during hearings to give the necessary treatment when required for witnesses, commissioners, and staff of the TRRC. At this juncture, I would like to thank all the arms of the TRRC for carrying out their tasks in a highly professional manner. Without the coordinated input of all the units, the hearings as they hold for all the world to see would not be possible. The research and investigations team and the legal team have the arduous task of conducting the investigations and preparing the cases for hearings. This is not an easy task, especially taking into consideration the period of time that the TRRC has to cover, the disparity of the witnesses, and their geographical locations. They have so far done an excellent job in bringing the witnesses from both sides, victim and perpetrator, who have shed some light into the early years of the mandate that the TRRC is to cover. We thank you, legal team and investigative team. The period in between sittings helps them to prepare better so that they can bring credible witnesses to the Commission, who will help the Commission create an impartial historical record of violations and abuses of human rights from July 1994 to January 2017 in order to promote healing and reconciliation, respond to the needs of victims, address impunity, and grant reparations to the victims in appropriate cases. The break period is critical to the other activities of the Commission. During this period, commissioners are able to hold committee meetings and participate in outreach activities in collaboration with other units of the TRRC. For example, during this break, the 4 female commissioners participated in the Women's Community Dialogues organized by the Women's Affairs Unit, supported by the United Nations Transitional Justice Project and the Gambia Victim Center for Human Rights Violations. The dialogues were held on the 7th and 8th March, respectively, in the Central and Lower River regions, and gave the commissioners and the staff of the TRRC and its partners the opportunity to interact with the local women. It facilitated interactive discussion on issues pertaining to the TRRC and the need for women to participate in the process either as direct victims or indirect victims, as mothers, wives, daughters, sisters, or family members of the victims. Community outreach programs have been conducted by various units: the Youth and Children's Network, the Communications Unit, and the Reconciliation Unit to promote the Never Again agenda. A national youth caravan, Our Nation, Our Voice, ran from February 4th to 13th and used music, art, poetry, and sports to engage communities in the national conversation of the Never Again agenda. The caravan was conducted in collaboration with the International Center for Transitional Justice. The African Center for Democracy and Human Rights Studies have also supported the Youth and Children's Network in its Never Again campaign. The school's outreach program reaches out to school children at the school level. But in addition to this, students from selected schools are brought into the TRRC to see and hear at firsthand the work of the Commission and listen to the testimonies of the witnesses. These are just some of the practices that the TRRC activities that the TRRC were engaged in February and in the early part of March 2019. All the activities were undertaken in collaboration with partners. This shows that the TRRC is not an exclusive body, but values partnership at all levels. By working together with other transitional justice bodies and with local communities and educational institutions, the TRRC can harness synergies, mobilize scarce resources, including human resources, to continue the search for common ground and continue the conversation on the never again agenda and how to promote peace, reconciliation, and healing, and define key characteristics of our national DNA. Since starting on this journey, the TRRC has made some incredible friends, like the Abiding Ward Ministries, who are providing not only water to the Commission, but are reaching out to some of the victims to provide psychosocial and spiritual support and guidance. We cannot thank them enough. The Commission also has its critics and opponents. The TRRC values constructive criticism and will do all it can to address those criticisms when they occur. The TRRC, however, will not tolerate persons who attempt to obstruct the work of the Commission or who try to distract from its work by vilifying the integrity of the Commission or the Commissioners. The TRRC stands resolute in carrying out its mandate to the best of its ability without fear or favor, and as mandated by the TRRC Act 2017. On this note, I want to thank all the persons behind the scene, the Executive Secretary and his staff, the interpreters, the technicians, the paramedics, the media, the security personnel, the cleansing service, and the restaurant for making this work look seamless. Without their various input, the hearings would not be as coordinated and as presentable as they are. To conclude, I would like to place on record our profound thanks to the Christian Council, who during the National Day of Prayer held on Saturday the 9th, offered special prayers for the TRRC and all the other transitional justice systems in the Gambia. We pray that the Almighty God accepts the prayers and blesses all those who prayed for us. On this note, I now declare the third session of the Truth, Reconciliation, and Reparations Commission open, and in line with good practice and tradition, we start as usual with prayers. I invite Imam Diallo to lead us in Muslim prayers. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين الحمد لله هادنا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هادينا الله الأول والآخر والآخر والباطن يا ربنا لك الحمد يا ربنا لك الحمد كما ينبغي وجلال وجهك وعظيم سلطانك وصلى الله على سيدنا محمد خاتم النبيين وإمام المرسلين سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. السلام عليكم.
Bishop Odiko, thank you.
Gracious and eternal Father, we continue to thank you for this nation, the Gambia. Thank you for your love, your compassion, your mercy, and your grace over this land. We want to bring before you all women of this nation, the Gambia, as we join the world to celebrate the Women's Day last week. We want to celebrate the women of this nation, the Gambia, for being role models, for the important part they play in national development, the important part they play in family building and nation building, for the hurt that they bear patiently, and for the pain that they carry patiently. We want to celebrate them. And we pray, Lord, because it is of their quietness that they carry these pains, that, Lord, it has not been easy for us to get them to come out to testify the TRRC. We want to thank you for the First Lady that has boldly accepted to come out. And we pray that she will be an example to all the other women who are hurting, who have gone through tremendous difficulties, but will be willing to come and testify. Father in heaven, we ask that, Lord, that you will be with the women of this land, that you will continue to consult each and every one of them, that you will continue to make them to be role models in our society, as they are the ones that are building up the nation by their forbearance, by their love, and by their concern for their children, for their husbands, and for all their relatives. We celebrate the women of this land, and we ask that, Lord, by your goodness and your mercy, that you will continue to shower your blessings upon them, so that this land will continue to be a blessed place to live. This we ask through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Lead Counsel, are we ready to start?
Good morning, Madam Chairperson. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning to you all. Indeed, we are ready to start with our first female witness, and I am happy to announce that Ms. Maria Masingate would be leading this witness. Thank you very much.
Good morning, Vice Chairperson. Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning to the audience. Osha, can you please bring the witness in? Madam Vice Chair, I wish to announce that the witness will be giving her evidence in Mandinka.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
I, Kadi Kamara. No. I, Kadi Kamara.
Contre Kadi Kamara.
Kadi Kamara.
Swear that.
Kalila.
Kadi Kamara.
Kalila.
Kalale.
I'll speak the truth.
Betonya Dronne Fola.
The whole truth.
Tonya Damang.
Tonya Damma.
And nothing but the truth.
Luatakela Fenti Memaki Tonyati.
So help me God.
To Alama Ale Makoi.
Alama Ale Indi.
Thank you.
Osha, can you kindly help the witness with the headset?
Tansulko ye sedo dema lamoir langoto. Olem aka memula mula prayem amoyi.
Good morning, Mrs. Witness. As you know, my name is Mariama Singate. I would just like to go over the few rules that I had gone through with you earlier. There is interpretation going on. So I would like to ask you to speak slowly and into the mic when you speak. So that you can be heard. And if you can't understand a particular question, please let me know. These are the issues that I would like to discuss with you today. A brief of your biographical detail. Your marital status and family setup. The career arrest and detention of your husband. The impact of that detention on your family.
Inata suokon ya nyinin ka aje ina yolmo.
Sorry, Ms. Witness, you have to wait until I start asking the questions. I'm just telling you about the things that I will discuss with you today.
Madam Chair, I think we are experiencing a bit of a technical difficulty. I could barely hear the Mandinka interpreter. So I would imagine that perhaps maybe the witness is laboring under the same circumstances. So we should first solve that problem. Make sure that the Mandinka interpretation in the hearing hall is loud enough for everybody to follow, because it's consecutive interpretation, so it's not simultaneous. We should be able to hear the Mandinka interpreter very well to be able to proceed. Apparently, there's a technical problem with regards to the witness wearing the headset, but let them try to up the volume inside the hearing hall. Thank you.
Yo, being Chema Sarata.
Mba ise batu demanding for nyininkaro yena. Did I just damage the language? I'm so sorry. It's my effort at
Council, actually from our end we are hearing quite well. I've checked with all the commissioners, we are okay. Maybe it's from your end, but we are okay.
Could you kindly translate after me? Is everybody hearing the Mandinka translator? Could you say something, the Mandinka interpreter?
He's standing, he's not even sitting.
Can you say something, Mandinka interpreter? Can you say something, Mandinka interpreter? The technicians, is it all right if the witness were to wear the headset? Is there a technical problem with that? The interpretation is coming out clearly in the headset. Wouldn't that solve our problem?
It is actually. Man jigéen ñi toogoom bi dafa sori dañ ko war a xëy.
Madam Witness, can you please tell us your name?
Sedo ako priye tofo.
Tom Kadi Kamara.
My name is Kadi Kamara.
Where do you live?
Ibesiri Muntole.
Besiri Njara Soma.
I'm a resident of Jarasoma.
Are you married?
Ifutu Talebang.
I'm Fututale.
Yes, I'm married.
When were you married?
What did you malenge ifututa?
Fututa Sanjisa Tan Sabasisila.
I was married for well over 30 years.
Who were you married to?
Fututa Jumale.
Alaji Mama di Sabali, Jara Soma.
Alaji Mamadi Sabali of Jarasoma.
Where is Alaji Mamadi Sabali?
Alaji Mamadou Sabali. Ale?
Abantale.
He's late.
Were you the only one that was married to Alaji Mamadi Sabali?
Ita da male fututa no Alaji Mamadou Sabali eba.
Ay musu sabasoto.
He had 3 wives.
Can you please tell us their names?
Ise tol fanya no bang.
Hansi tol fono.
Yes, I can tell you their names.
Ala fosi muso ka fo namandi jaju si.
His first wife was Namadin Jajisi.
Yo ntele uno kan Kadi Kamara.
I was the second, Kadi
Yo
Kamara.
na musu sabanya na manyo wala mujara Kamara.
And the third wife is Jara Kamara.
Bani ñu mo fulo ñun wolu bantale.
But these other two are late.
Ntele bi je say.
So I am the only surviving wife.
How many children did Alaji Mamadi Sabali have?
Alaji Mamadou Sabali. Ay dinjel le soto.
Ante killing te din kononto soto.
I have 9 children by myself.
Na muskeba we di musu fula soto.
The first wife had 2 daughters.
Membe onoma di musu fula dinke saba.
And the other one had 2 sons and 3 daughters.
Where were you residing during the 1994 coup?
Ibesiri no Muntole. Kabri wato mina coup d'etat nyimbeke ganun 1994 sangokono. Walen sanji muani fula komando.
Besiri Njara Soma.
I was resident in Jarasoma.
As at that time, were you married to Alaji Mamadi Sabali?
Fo wo wato aya tarre nun ini alaji Muhammadu Sabali be futu wala numba.
Ha ninga alaji Muhammadu be futu wala na ke follow ma telete.
Yes, at that time we were married. He has been my only husband.
Can you describe your family setting during that time?
Isa fono bang alla dimbaya la karola abe lori no nyaadi le wotembola.
Ha ansa fono wotembo atele ka dimbaya dañini atele ka karambungo jo atele ka kurango jo fanan.
At that time, he was the sole breadwinner. He pays the school fees and he does other things that the household needed.
What was your husband's occupation at that time?
Owato ike mamune mala doko dinu.
Ka business mano ka kordal sang ake sa inkan sang ana be kara soto fanan save the karasial wala mala doko.
He was a businessman involved in real estate. He bought and sold land, and he also worked at the garage as the chef of the garage.
Was your husband involved in politics at that time?
Fo wato ikema adata ranum politiki ko kono le numba.
Ani adamantara politiko.
He was not involved in politics.
Prior to 1994, was he involved in politics?
Janning 1994 sangokon. Fo adata ranum politiko kono ba.
Jawara la time adata politiko kono le. Jawara ni perinjai atelum perinjai la dibite out sabasanjal.
Well, he was involved in politics during Jawara's time and PS Njai's time, and he was one-time National Assembly member for Sabasanja during the PVP regime.
Did anything, if any, happen to your husband around 1995?
Ako, fo fenkete ike malalbang na atara sotota 1995 sangokon.
Ansa for no I mean for ye.
Yes, I can say yes by what he told me.
Can you tell us what happened in 1995 to your husband?
Fo isa fo no molene minketa no ike mala 1994 sangokono no.
Ansa for no moli mol be samo menketala.
Yes, I can narrate that so that everyone knows what happened to him.
Kindly tell us, please.
Sai isa fo moli muneketa.
1995 ya soja ya tata Murtani.
He went to Mauritania in 1995.
Tata soja rule kana nyinin police rule kana nyinin kaswokon.
At that time, police will occasionally come to the house and inquire about him. And they would ask me, where is your husband? And we will tell them he's gone to Mauritania. But as soon as they leave, we will call Sekou in Dakar and inquire about him. We'll ask if Alaji Mamadi has arrived or has come. And he will tell us he's not come yet. Then we will tell him if he comes. Let him remain in Dakar for a while because the CID are inquiring about his presence. And Sekou normally will tell us, yes, I'll relay that message to him. That is it.
Can you please tell us how you know that it was the police that were asking for him?
Ko fo isa fo no mole bang ite alo nyaadi le ko police wole kana nun ka nyinin ka suko
hansa fo no mole la kuma kan ka fatia nyame.
Yes.
Ani ka ken kan nyame ngalu na ko police wole kana nyinin ka.
Well, by the way they will normally speak, the tone of their speech can tell you that these are people who are police.
What were they wearing?
Ika mune dung mundum fancy fala ka tarela.
Ibuka uniform dung.
They come in mufti, they are not in uniform.
My uniform also. Police were in my uniform also.
The police were not in police uniform.
Did they introduce themselves to you as police officers.
Fo ike fang itandi tala ka fo ko ko tol mo police ol lati bang.
Ha an kanto ne nte jintol ke nge jibe nyamen ila kuma kan be nyamen ngalum ne ko police ol men yale bika uniform odu.
Well, by the way I observed them and the way they speak, I could tell that they were policemen who normally would not be in uniform.
You mentioned that when the police came looking for your husband, you had called Sekou Sabali to inform him that the police were looking for your husband. Why did you call Sekou?
Ya fo janne ko police ol ni nata ni nyinin karo ni Mamadou Sabali nyinin ka so kon e ka Sekou Sabal call. Ako sa ni Sekou Sabal call fo ka fa ne mune atina police ol nata je bang.
Ka fa ne ko isafo alaji mamadi ko.
Sorry. The interpretation is a bit off. The question I asked was, why did she call Sekou, of all people?
Ako, ake nyinin kamen, mune atina ye Sekou call, ya kumandi telephone oto.
Sekou, ni aje nga call, nga kumandi telephone oto. Alaji mamadi fama alem.
I called him because he's Alaji Mamadou's father.
Amurta keta bitanta di muso dia akotola Alaji Bakar Sabal.
Secondly, they are in-laws.
Which Sekou are you talking about?
Ibe Sekou Jumale kuofo kante.
Sekou Sabali Saba Sanjali Jawara Laba President.
I'm talking about Sekou Sabali, Jawara's vice president.
Where was Sekou residing at that time?
Wato Sekou be siri no muntole.
Abe siri in Gambia Banyul.
He was resident here in the Gambia in Banjul.
No, at the time of the people coming to your house to inquire about your husband, where was Sekou residing?
Ako, wato wina mol kananang iya ka Sekou la kuwa nyininka. Wato Sekou be siri no muntole.
Abe siri in Dakar.
He was resident in Dakar.
After you've informed Sekou to tell your husband that people usually come to the house to look for him, did he relay the message to your husband?
Ako, wato mina iya fo Sekou yako, ko mol kana suwo konole ke mala kuwa nyininka. Ako fo, wo Sekou, ay wo kuma kongo sindi ike mamale ba.
Birana ta ya kuma kango sindi ike mamale.
Well, the message has been relayed.
How did you know that he has relayed the message to your husband?
Sekule nata murai mkoli na setota kwenye ko ba nata le bari Allah kuma ka men aliya fanye nga faen.
Sekou himself called to tell us that Ba has arrived and your message has been relayed to him.
What means were you using to communicate with Sekou at that time?
Ikamun tarambulel tanu wawato ini Sekou kadiamu tarambulol minna.
Na telephone seto membe na bungokon na kadiamu wal.
We used a telephone set in our house.
Now, when Sekou informed you that he has told your husband, did he tell you anything else?
Kabrin Sekou ya fueko ko aya fue ikemayen. Ay kibaro nyim fine. Fa fendo fana fue na ba.
Kibaro dun Sekou da kaya ko. Isa fo ko ntebe da membi. Mennu kana nyinin kaso kono isa fo ko bi arabon futa ta Dakar. Sama aramiso nin ala yake isa fo ko mbellala naso kono jara so. Isa fo imnatale sama mbellala naso kono.
The message was relayed and he told Sekou that to tell us that the people who are looking for us, that he has arrived and that by God's grace he will be returning back to his home very soon.
Can you recall the time of the year this occurred?
Foi se hakilo bulandi no le nyinketa sang jumale kono.
Ani hakilo nto bulandi no la.
I cannot recall the year.
The men that you were talking about that usually come to the house to inquire about your husband, Did they return to the house?
Kel mi alon ko ko wolle foteng e kana suwo kono e ka nyinin karo keje fo inata na murnal ni jela ko temba
man na murna
They did not return.
Alhaji Mama nata muta bendum fara fenyele ya muta.
But they met up with him in Farafenye where he was arrested.
How did you know that he was arrested at that time?
ya lon no nyadile ko ya mutale
Ala dimiso membe fara fenye joko sabali.
His daughter, resident in Farafenye, Joko Sabali,
Wala ya kibaro dinna ko. Baba natale anata ala fengol di ala ko joko se ala fengol ba ko samanan anala balama fengolu asafo dimba ko ya mutale ifele ba sambala ningaje nsi ala tentu nimmaje fana nsa lon ko ala ye wala langi nsi sabare.
Well, his daughter then called us to say that his father had given her his properties and asked her to relay the message to the other members of the family that he's been arrested and that that is the situation. If they see him, well, thanks be to God. But in the event they fail to see him, let them just know that that is the way things are.
How did you feel upon hearing that your husband has been arrested?
yemune kalamude ibalo bala kabri wato min na ya moy ko yeke mamude
Na kala mutala kai kantu birin joko e kibaro dinna dimba bela kumbota walu ya tabiri mankeje mo bela kumbota bawo kewnin ne kam balondi.
It was a sad moment when the message was relayed to us in the house. There was crying all over the place. In fact, nobody cooked that day, and everybody was sad, given that he was the only breadwinner of the family.
Did you eventually find out where he was taken after his arrest?
fo labangoning inata lonne ya sambanu damin kabri ya muta
Birin beje meta la kafunyo kiliyan kol menketa siseti police ke bale mu nyamina kuda wotu mon to ma kala ngolo.
Well, later on, we got a call from one Cisse. He was a senior officer in the police force in Nyamina Kudan.
What was the call about? What did Cisse tell you?
kabra ya kumandi ay muna faale nu
Ibrahim kumande ya na musike ba wale telephone no receive akai tele munna mandi jaaju city akai ko akai ko yo danku Alhaji Mamadi.
Well, when he called, it was the first wife who took the call, and when this CC inquired as to whether she was the wife to my husband, and she confirmed, then she yes, and she confirmed that yes, she was the wife of my husband, Mamadou Sabali.
After that, what happened?
kabri wokeda mune nata ga kote
Biring ay dankama akai ko dimbaya be nyaadi kortana talla.
When she answered, he inquired about the family and wanted to know if everything was all right.
Akai ko hani tanawtana tenna.
And she told him, no, we are all okay.
Yo aya fa ko bira kumanda akai Alhaji Mamadi anadi amata akai fo tele mu Alhaji Mamadi te akai ko han tele mu Alhaji Mamadi akai ko te ke Mamadi nkete men kumande tele mu akai ko han tele mu yab.
So the first wife asked, are you Alhaji Mamadi? That is the husband. And the husband replied in the affirmative, yes, I am the one. And she asked again, are you really the one that I am speaking to? And he confirmed that yes, he was the one that the wife was speaking to.
Otumole ma akai ko ntele mu yabu mbeda men jang akai ko hanni e baladi mo men benna nim baladi mo men ketanna hanni e ko jaro soto mbeda men bem fam falat.
That was when our husband told the first wife that where I am feeling so much pain that even if I had a spoon by myself here, I would commit suicide.
Did your husband at that time tell the senior wife where he was?
ako fo ikema wawato aya fo muskeba na tebenu damimba
Akai ne mfele jang be banyu ne siadi ofsi.
Yes, our husband told the first wife that here I am in Banjul at the CID office.
What was the atmosphere in the house after receiving that phone call?
Bungo kono albenu nya dile suo kono bungo kono je kabri nyinki baro fotatal
be na ke wala ni bungo kono ni na dinde ngol be bawo ni si manta be katala bungo kono dimba be katala bungo kono.
Well, usually in the house after dinner we'll all converge into his room.
Bar bira ko ke mbele kurta telefono la puruka la kuma ka moy.
But when he called to tell us about his situation, we all went and stood around the telephone to hear what was being said.
How did you feel about what was being said? Both you and the children and everyone else that was in that room.
Yimune kalamote balo bala kabra nyun kuma konfo kaboy tala dinnol animil bebe nu wo bungo kon bebe yimune kalamote ni balo bala
Kabira nyin kumofo dindingolu ntol musolu mbele kumbota birata ya fa kumbota len tol be fanan kumbota nyola.
Well, we all were crying, the wives, the children, because as he was speaking, he was crying. So we all, began to cry as well.
After that day, did you hear from your husband again?
I have not been hearing from him since then.
Did you make inquiries about his whereabouts?
Nata na kisikiro kele ala dindin kini yani memuta nyola birin be kisikisiro la ngamo yewo bulan nata ta konton nga nyininka puru kumbata la ko la mala be damen fa be balurin ne bang fo wata balurin nata o nyininka anata fo nyiko to nyala ye samba bakaw barasle ya diteni walto.
Well, we made some investigations to find out about where he was being detained, and later on we learned that one of the little boys that he was arrested with was released. So we went to greet him and we inquired from him, and then he told us that they were taken to Fajara barracks, and that was where my husband was being detained.
Did that particular person tell you anything about his condition in Fajara barracks?
Fo wo kenying wo dingo nyi alni min diamuta altata min jibe fo ya fale ne kenya mi yalon ko ikema bo wo kenya le nyama Fajara barak koto
hani dinde woni ma fo nyaay nga nyinin ka dinde woni nin ka le ke tera dula ba o mata dula lo.
We asked this young detainee who was being released about our husband's whereabouts and situation, but he could not say.
What was the name of this person you are referring to as the boy?
Ikaying momin to for them ko diningolem fo ya tolo ne bang
Na tolo ne kai ka fa e masa ne sise afana muko dan kolti bara bantale.
His name is Masana Sise from Kudam, but he's now late.
When you heard that your husband was being detained at Fajara barracks, did you go anywhere else to seek for help concerning his release?
Ako kabriye kibaro sotoko ikema ya muta Fajara barak otol. Ako fo yesilol tale pruka jeko ikema ya nyimuto minkala pro ya blabang pro ya ta demaro nyini.
Ani ma o ken telu o kay na makati bayo foka kumbode.
Well, I have not done that for us. The only thing we did was just to cry. We couldn't do anything.
Did anyone else help you to inquire about his whereabouts?
Fo moya makwele bang pruka kisi ka long alkema abe damendo.
Ani moma makoy.
We did not get help from any other quarters.
Did you inquire about the reason for his detention?
Fo inata na kisi ro kele pruka long dalilo mi yatina ya muta.
Nata kisi ro kele.
Yes, we later investigated.
What did you find out?
Kabriye kisi ro ke inata na munelong.
Ko biringa kisi ro ke nganyini karo ko se ku sabali ya kordal lo ay jara soma.
When we inquired, we came to know that the allegation was that Sehu Sabali built a house for him in Jarosoma. And it was the rent he collected from that house that he took over to Senegal to Sehu Sabali. That was the reason for his arrest. That was the reason why he was arrested, for collecting this rent supposedly by this house built by Sehu Sabali and taking the money to Sehu Sabali in Dakar.
Did you eventually see your husband again?
I did not see him until after 1 year, 3 months when he was released from detention.
Do you know the events surrounding the release of your husband?
Wala munyin daliloti ko ya muta aka sekula bitik fonkola wafi kordala wafa tata kododi sekula Dakar. Dalilo ko ya muta wala.
Well, the reason is that he was accused of sending this money to Sehu Sabali from the rent collected from the house that Sehu built.
Can you tell us about his release?
Yeah, alabulanya. Iso fono mole.
Yes,
I can tell how he was released.
Tell us.
One day after we had lunch, his daughter, resident in Farafenye, her name is Aissatou Sabali. She called us to say and told us that they have released her dad. So we were there until around the evening time. He then called us to say that in fact his release has now been rescinded. He's no more going to be released. At that time, he had been detained for 1 year, 2 months. Reason for this refusal to release him. At that time, FRI Jammeh took him from where he was and took him to Babadika in Joshuang.
How did you know about this?
Once they told us that he was no longer going to be released, his daughter made calls, and she was able to speak to people like OJ, Hussein Njai. It was when she asked them how her father was doing in detention. And that was when they told her that the reason for his not being released that while they were there, her father was being taken away. So the reason for the failure of the release of the detainees was that people like OJ and Hussein Njai insisted that if my husband was not brought back to them, or if they did not hear any information as to his situation, whether he was alive or dead, they will not agree to leave detention. So that was why, the detention, the release was not made possible at the time.
Who is this FRI Jammeh you're referring to?
The FRI Jammeh coming for them.
FRI Jammeh. Ngalon tenem tema FRI Jammeh fango mo malo. Nana ma bari ngalong.
I cannot say who FRI Jammeh is. I cannot even recognize him in public, but I just know that he happens to be the one to have moved my husband from Bakau to Babadika.
Do you know if he was part of the police or the military or any other security outlet?
Fo ite yalon na fo ni evara Jamaica mfate fo police olembang fo military olembang fo adabe doku dula kotongola police doku dula kotongola to
ani mawolong asken man ta mawolong bari ngani lonko atele enke mamuta ya samba joswang bamba dinka.
I do not know. I cannot tell whether he was in any active service, but I do know that he was the one that took my husband from Bakau to the Joshua prison.
Was your husband eventually released?
Labang la fo nata na ke ma bula labang.
Birin Usain Njanyol yofo wolum fam biri yofo.
Well, yes. When Usain Njai and OJ Jallo insisted not to leave detention,
Tata yemoto tata kamanan Joshua bamba dinka.
that was when the detainers went to Joshua and brought him back to Bakau, where he was initially detained.
Did you see him again?
Yes, eventually he was released.
Upon his release, where was he?
When he was released, he was driven to Tobacco Road to the residence of Sehu Sabali.
Did he eventually go back to Soma?
Biri ya abula ye nkoli ya dimma men Aisar Sabali ya koli ko sila ye fama abulale bari abuka tama.
Well, when he was released, they called his daughter Aisar Sabali and informed her that your dad has been released, but he is unable to walk by himself.
Aisar nata na koli murundi nye ko ha iko iye baba bulale bari abuka tama.
Aisar then called us to tell us that, well, I've been informed that Dad has been released, but he's unable to walk. It was then that the people in Sehu's house told us that, yes, we will release him and allow him to return to you using the last bus to Soma. And he asked that two of his sons meet him at the bus station so that they will help him to get home, since he would not be able to walk by himself to the house. So Omar Sabali and the brother went to the bus stop and waited for their dad to arrive. When the bus came, they helped him to alight from the bus. Because at that time, all his legs were swollen, and even some parts of his body were swollen. That was when they helped him to get to the house. When they brought him to the house, the elder wife said to him, well, as you are now in this state, if we were to announce that you have been released, this place will be crowded. Everyone will come wanting to see you. Well, where you are, we want you to be in this, sit down here, so that when people come, they will not know exactly what your physical situation is. At that time too, he was unable to speak.
Sorry, excuse me. The interpretation is a bit off. She said at that time he was not speaking, not that he can't speak.
Thank you, Ma.
Can you please continue?
Continue.
Yo, meaning I okay ala diambalia I left. I look wasile.
Well, he's not speaking. Took almost 1 week.
Otumo baladi mo le warata kan.
At that time, he was experiencing a lot of pain.
Nata na mandinkol ka fume manankaso.
There is this local herb which Mandinkas use.
Nka wala fajindi.
That is what we boil.
Nka amindala.
And we give it to him to drink.
Otumo la kana anyi yeli fingo sumuna.
And that time he was urinating a darkish substance.
Can you please take us into detail his physical condition when he arrived at the house? How he looked?
Lafta puriye dunkendeke ataranyato coming watu mina futata nansuokon abe nunya dile lafta le yewoto for aisenea
watu ma futana nansuokon anya dalu abalo bebe kuliyarine.
That time he came to the house, his body was in a very, very difficult situation. He was not very active.
Sorry, swollen. Swollen.
Okay. Thank you, ma.
You are being I okay. Now, dear Lafo, I yellow be sumuna.
So we gave him this herb until he got out of all of this dark substance that he was urinating.
Please.
Ambeje akataman taman suokona akataman tama.
And then he began to walk a little bit in the house.
You said his body was swollen. Can you please help us, because we want a picture of what he looked like. Can you please help us describe which part of the body was swollen and how it was, his physical appearance? That's what we want to know.
Balo be itale bari birin ka odi ala dron balo ni yelo ko yeli fi wala mu balo anata na yeli fi be sumunandi fo balo jita.
Yes, his body was swollen, but after we gave him this herb to drink, he began to urinate this black substance, and after a while, the swelling subsided.
Oh, akataman tama.
And then he began to walk in the house.
Yung killing anata kumandi.
One day he called me.
I am basing the mosabo.
The three of us, his wives, and we all sat down.
Ako namusikeba namandi.
He called the first wife, Namandi,
akaya ko alisali hako tunye,
and begged for their forgiveness.
Bali hako dan nafana.
Begged for their forgiveness.
Ba unte bedameng.
Because in the situation that I am currently in,
unte futuo kela koteke.
I cannot be able to perform my manly functions as a husband.
They
have messed up with my organs. And now the reason why I am begging for your understanding and forgiveness. Marriage is between a man and a woman. Once you realize that you are no longer able to perform your duties as a husband, as a man, is it only right that you inform your partners?
Yo muskeba na tanyi aya fonyen kaya ko nte follow ba nte din ko ntole buluwat.
And the eldest wife told me, and then I said, well, for me, I have 9 children with him. I have 8 boys and 1 daughter. One daughter. The eldest wife had 3 daughters. The third wife had 2 sons and 3 daughters. So they asked me first, and I said to him, no. I forgive you, but given that what you have is as a result of an accident, a misfortune. And I'm just going to hold on to that, knowing that this is the situation, and wait for what God's decision is going to be. The last wife too made similar remarks that she had forgiven and she's fine with the situation.
yo na talata wulla abeje
So that was how this meeting ended.
asafonyo ko nani mali hakiluto
And he will tell us, you need to be careful
ni ngalla suto
when I sleep at night.
ale kan nan jibe
Do come constantly to check on me.
nani man nan jibe lunkilin nali batar lam fulo be larim bawo membe kono atakunna
You have to be checking on me constantly to make sure that I am alive, because if you fail to do, one day you might come and find a dead body, because what is in me, I know that eventually it's going to kill me.
Yom fananu kana nyokuni nkata fabe damen nin ntatam futatama ngatara ngajibe ko abesino lan safo nyoye ko kuma kala abesino.
And so we took it in turns to make sure that we check on him at night. Each one of us take a turn to check on him to make sure that he's still alive. And that was how we maintained the situation.
But alata kaya afo nyame abe fala suto talamfula.
By the grace of God, as he said, one day in the night, 2 a.m.,
adinke obe je Umar Sabalo ko ayama yakafu la ilaha illallah Muhammad Rasulullah asaf alhamdulillah rabbil alamin aka ala tentu doron.
One of his sons heard him in the night chanting prayers, thanking God in the night.
Biri wolota ye lamoy aka ayamira ko abe salolla.
So when the prayers, the chanting stopped, this son thought that perhaps the father just fell asleep.
Bar birin kuma kango kandita.
But later on, when the prayers became, insistent, he said to himself, "No, this cannot possibly be prayers." That was when he rushed into his room. And by the time he got to his room, he found his father was almost struggling for his life. He called him and said, "Daddy." And that was when the son told him, when you were released from detention, your doctor came and advised you to stop smoking.
Sorry, there is something missing in the interpretation. She said the doctor told him that he usually suffocates, and that is not good for a smoker, so he should quit smoking.
Thank you, Ma.
Biring doctor onying sukuru kurang le bala ning yeli selo bari diteno atara wo kurang bala.
Well, he had high blood pressure and diabetes, but the detention, made the conditions worse.
Bari bira nata diteni ngaja ni suko nata diteni.
But when he was released, this suffocation that he experiences is as a result of the conditions in the detention. Normally he will suffocate constantly for a while. And once he experiences such fits, then normally will bring his pump, which he will use to help him to breathe. And then that normally will help him to normalize.
Okay. You told us that your husband called all of you and informed you that he has lost his manhood. Did he tell you how?
I told Musu Sabol be. I commanded and I dantero kali ne kafale ko atebe dam to sang ala keya tije. So fire fale ne ban dalilo mi atina ala keya mantaraje kote.
Yes, he told us. He told us that those that arrested him, The people that he could recognize,
he
made mention of FRI Jame and Daba Marena.
Ayafako membe bulu kela fonko bere kilo ledete.
He said they had something which they will normally use to squeeze and break your testicles and castrate you.
Ay wamo fulo la wolel sute wol damante bari video kala cetutale.
He said
among mola fonkos.
Daba Marena and FRI Jame were the only two people that he could recognize from the group, but they were more than just those two. But he fainted in the process while they were castrating him, so he could not tell who the other guys were.
Did he also tell you how he sustained the swollen bits on his body?
I have found Fanako. I mean, sort of a bolo thing. I have found ko I have sort of nyadi.
Ah, I men ya akala I will fonyete.
Well, he told me those who did these things to him. Those are the names that I mentioned.
You are kobiri okala fana.
He told us that when after they did that to him.
Ako somanda.
Each morning.
Ika bondi bantal.
They will take him outside.
Isujulo sita akamoda.
And they will put a rope around his neck.
Isa sita sinkumba fulo bala.
They will tie him around the knees.
Isa bute karawasola.
And then they will use leathers and beat him up.
Isa nyininka seku saballa korda me yalo ay ka luaso samba ka jelle samba.
And then they will ask him, the house that you built for Sehu Sabali, how much rent money do you usually collect to take to him?
Asafo ko ntemang sekula ko ditembu asafo ente lota dibite yala perinja ni jawra taimu birim bota auto nganda bo mansala ko to mallo politique nganda bo politique ko to sekula ko ditembul ntebe damen siwo be damen alte butero kelanna walla alte liparo kelanna fo men batinna ngakuma faali manyen na men fola ali yelli faali yem fa bar wotatinna ntela muslime ambe kuma falali manyen na men fola.
But then he will insist that he has got no money for Sehu Sabali. He has been a member of parliament during Perez Njai's time and Jawara's time, and that is all he has done. He's not into politics, and no matter how much beating they gave him, he was not going to tell them lies. So at that time, after they get tired of beating him up, then they will untie him. And then they will hit him, smash him around. And then when he falls, and then he begins to crawl. Because he would normally not be able to stand. That was the way he will crawl until he gets to where he normally sits. And then that is where he will normally lie until he is able to regain his composure.
Madam Vice Chair, we have about 5 minutes to the tea breaks. So if the commissioners have any questions for the witness.
I think this is a good time to stop taking into consideration the emotional state. Then we can come back. Or did you want to ask an additional?
Okay with that.
Okay, we can take a half an hour break and come back and meet this.